Okay.
All right, go ahead to your shear. If you want, call me up. I'll come play chess with you.
No, I was up at 4:00 this morning. Are you joking?
No, yeah.
Yeah. I just came home from the hospital, and I came home. I picked up dinner and soup for her. Then I went back to the hospital. I was there the whole day.
Oh my God!
I was being up since 4:00.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's okay.
I will give everybody my best, and we'll see her soon, I hope.
Okay, so here's Walter. Walter, it's good to see you. Is everything okay with Esty?
Malaga wine. Remember that Malaga? Okay.
Can't hear us.
Yeah.
Say again?
What kind of surgery?
I know, she had back surgery. She had
Back
like
surgery?
removal of some of her hardware that she had put in there. Okay.
So you left over the
Yes,
Mishnah.
Chav Gimel Amid Beis Mishnah. I'm going to try to do a blot and a half today. Chav Gimel
Yeah, of the
23b.
base of the Mishnah.
We've been dealing with claims. People make-
Ernie, the neshama should have an aliyah. Sorry, I just.
I mean, yes, the shear should be for the neshama of my father's, the aliyah of my father's neshama, Yaakov ben Yechezkel, and refuah shlema for Esti Bas Leah.
Esther Basleya.
How is Esther doing?
She's doing Baruch Hashem
Thank God.
better than expected. What can I
Okay,
tell you? This was not a major. The ones that it was major, but not major. So Baruch Hashem.
But the surgeon came out and everything was
the
favored.
surgeon was very, very happy, very excited about it.
Very
So,
good.
Baruch Hashem.
Everything should be continued on that path.
Thank you.
So the Mishnah says, "V'chein shnei anoshim." Right? We've been learning hapesha aser hu hapesha hitir. Like if a woman says, "I was raped," so we believe her because let's say that when the husband comes
The Mishnah is a better.
the night after the wedding and finds that she's not a basula, says, "Yeah, I was raped." Well, we believe her because she could have said, "Well, I'm a mukas. I fell off a bike." It doesn't shame her as much. So because she could tell a better lie, there's a reason Chachamim believe her. And we've been learning every Mishnah different twists on that type of concept. So here the Mishnah says, "V'chein shnei anoshim, ze omer kohenani, v'ze omer kohenani." Two men come and say that they're kohanim. Now, why would they say that they're kohanim? Well, they want truma to be given to them. Einon ne'amanim. They're not believed. Uvizman shehein me'idin zeh harei elu ne'amanim. If person A says person B is a Kohen, and person B says person A is a Kohen, they are believed. So, Chora, it looks like we believe Eid Echad regarding saying who's a Kohen or not. That's l'chora what we see from here. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ein malin l'kun al pi Eid Echad, and therefore Rabbi Yehuda jumps right away in, argues, and says, no, we don't male somebody to the status of a Kohen based on one aid. Amar Rav Eliezer. Now, Amasai, when do we not rely on one aid? B'makom sheyesh oirin, where there's people are dubious about the claim. They're challenging his claim. Malcolm Shein Orin, but when everybody accepts it, so so then everybody would agree that if one person says, "Oh yeah, he's a kohen," we could be mala that person based on Eid Echad. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Shimon ben Chazgan, mala l'kun al pi Eid Echad. Yep. And the Rambam Paskins like that. Regarding the one aid says about the other guy, we say that it works. And the Rambam also says, Malin l'kun al pi Eid Echad, kedas hachachamim. Now, the Gemara is not going back to all the cases we've learned now in this perek. What do we need they seem to be all the same. What is the chidushim regarding this pesha aser, the mouth that puts the person in a prohibited state? Well, then he's believed regarding that. Tzrichi. We need all these cases in our perek. The Itana Moed Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua had a case where the person says, "You know what?" Because the person now has a field. How does he have this field? He says to Chaim, "I bought the field from your father." Remember that case? It was your father's, but I was coining it. Now, that's a pesha aser. I mean, you put your already self in a bad situation by claiming it was somebody else's. Well, so since I didn't have to say that, but then I bought it from him, we believe him. And even Rabbi Yoshua, who was normally skeptical on these kind of cases, there he was moed. Now why? Mishum de ikadror de mamoino. When I admit that this field was originally Chaim's father and I bought it from him, that puts me at hefsid mamon. That causes me to potentially has money at risk. Aval edim. When we had the case where there was a star and the edim come and say, yeah, that's our signature, but we were psulim. Remember? They were ketanim, they were related, so therefore they're puzzle, okay? But they don't have any money involved in this star, they're just edim on the star. So maybe we should, Aval edim to like a Jordan money, I'm alone.
And Jordan money you're defining as this.
Potential money loss.
Money loss.
It's potential money loss. For him, personally, for him. But when ADM say something about their signature, their money's not at risk. The person who wants to collect money from somebody based on that star is at risk, but not them. So maybe, since it's not really much of a pesha usher, it doesn't put them at maybe we shouldn't believe them. So we say, no, we believe him in that case as well. V'itana Adim. Let's say you only had that case of Adim talking about their signature, Mishum de la Alma. They're testifying about somebody else. They're Aval Iu de la Nafshe. But the case where I'm claiming that I bought it from Chaim's father, so I have a personal nagi in that. Maybe he shouldn't believe. Aim alone. So we say, no, we believe him. Let's say we have those two cases. The case of me claiming that I bought the field from Chaim's father, or that the Adim said that they were psulim. So in both of those cases, mishum de mamona, there is some money issue. Fine. The Adim, it's not their money, but there's money involved. Aval eishes ishti isura. The cases where she says I was an eishes ish, but I got divorced. So again, that's a pesha usher ha pesha hitir. If she's going to lie, why would she say that she's a married woman? That already makes her a chefza shel isser. Now she undoes it by saying she's a grusha, so we believe her. But that has nothing to do with mammon. That's isser veheter. Maybe a malo. So maybe I would say we don't believe her. So we say no. That's why we have to have a mishnah telling us that chiddush. Well, then nishbesi utohira ani lamali. So then one of the cases was a girl who comes and says I was taken prisoner by pirates, but they didn't rape me. So we believe her, and if she can marry a kohen, right? Because if a girl gets raped by goyim, she's a halachic zona. She can't marry a kohen. Well, that's again Isser Ve'eter. We already have the case of Isser Ve'eter. What does that add, chidush-wise? Oh, by itself it doesn't. But mishum de kaboy lemisni, ve'imishinis is bo edim. Then we said that after she says, I was taken prisoner, but I wasn't raped. And Besdin Paskins, okay, go ahead and marry the Kohen. She marries the Kohen. And then Adim come to say that she was taken prisoner. So we're no longer relying on her. We're relying on the Adim. Maybe we would reverse, no. Harezu lo teitse. We don't force a divorce.
So we learned that when one gets taken as a prisoner, it's a given that they're going to get raped. It's like a chazoket type of thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, but so here's a girl who comes to this community, and she tells us she was, if she's going to lie, she wouldn't say that she was taken prisoner. But we don't know what happened to this. So she tells us she was taken prisoner, but I'm tahor. I remained unraped. And it does happen. Now it would be a lot better if she came with Adim that had been watching her 24 hours a day, and they tell, but we don't have Adim. We have her mouth. So her mouth is a pesha osir,
Yeah, I understand.
pesha hitter. Yes, otherwise the chazak is that they're raped. but in some circumstances, they're not. So that works according to the one that says it goes on the Sefer was the case of prisoner. But the one who learned that it was not that she was taken prisoner, but rather she was an Ashes Ish and she was a Grusha, then then there's no Chiddush anymore. Because then we had two women who were taken prisoner, and they each testify on each other. We said we believe them. And why is that a chiddush? The concept of goimlin is like a conspiracy. You watch my back, I'll watch your back. That means you testify in my favor and I'll testify in your favor. So maybe there's a havamina that we shouldn't believe the two women that said, oh, they were both untouched.
Same thing with the Kohanim. They could say,
We're going to get to
Make
and
sure
a Chanami. We're going to see that svara will come up by the Kohanim as well. Very good. So Kamash Malon, that we don't worry about Goimlin. Then our case of the Mishnah, V'chein Shnei Anoshim. What's the big chiddush now of the Shnei Anoshim with Kohen? Lamali. Mishum the Kabbalah Mishneh Plukta Rabbi Yehuda Rabbanon. Mainly to show us that Rabbi Yehuda is a machlokes. Rabbi Yehuda says, Ein mal l'kuhun al pi eid echad, and the Chachamim says, you are. Period. Don Rabban. Ani Kohen v'chaveri Kohen. I'm a Kohen and my friend's a Kohen. Neman lachila b'truma. So we can use that testimony to feed the other guy truma, but the eno neman lasio isha, but not regarding that he should be a kohen regarding yichus, regarding getting married. Ad shiyu shlosha. You need to have at least, you need three people coming. One can't testify in himself. You need two to testify about the other guy for yichus. Shnai midim alzeh, shnai midim alzeh. Right? You need two edim for that. Our Mishnah dealt with identifying somebody as a kohen for what? For truma, not yichus. Now it's being revealed to us that for yichus you need two edim. L'chor. Rabbi Yehuda Omer afeinu neman lachilu b'trumat shleisha. That's consistent. Rabbi Yehuda didn't allow eid echad, so you need two edim even to feed the guy truma. Shnai midim alzeh, shnai midim alzeh regarding truma. Now, lemeimed Rabbi Yehuda chaysh l'goimlin, v'rabbanan lo chaysh l'goimlin. Now, what's the machlok? Why is Rabbi Yehuda not going to believe them? Is it because of this conspiracy as well? These two guys met outside of town, and they said, "Listen, when we go into town, you tell them I'm a kohen, I'll tell you you're a kohen," and that maybe that's a svara not to believe them. And maybe Rabbi Yehuda is chayish for that chacham or not. Well, in fact, we've heard just the opposite. Did not. Hachamorin shenichnu salir. Chamorin are donkey drivers. They were in the business of caravans. Now, older grain was better quality. It was proven to have stored longer. So if the person says, mine is new and my friend's is Yashon, or Shali, my grain is Eno Metukan, Meiser and Truma have not been given. Because of Goimlin. Here we're definitely, here the Tanakama is worried about Goimlin. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Neman. So see, just the opposite. There we're definitely worried about a conspiracy, but it's the opposite shita. Rabbi Yehuda is the one that's not worried about Goimlin. You have to switch. You have to switch their shitas. One of the Mishnayos, because otherwise they're contradictory. Abayah is going to give us a teretz that fits Kohen versus grain. Excuse me. It's just allergies. Bidmai Hakilu. This issue where you said, my grain, Meiser and Trumas have been given by, when you bought something from Amaretz, which was called Dmai, so there was a suffix, maybe they didn't give Trumas and Meisers. Trumas they gave. So here they could be makel because Rav Amaris Masrinain. If you go on statistics, the majority of the Amarites did give Meiser. So there's a reason to be makel. Amar Rava. Rava gives a different teretz. Rabbi Yehuda Kasha, Rabbanan Loi Kasha. I mean, you have a Baraisa that completely are opposite. So it's not just a Kasha on Rabbi Yehuda, it's a Kasha on Chachamim as well. Ela, says Rava, Rabbi Yehuda Loi Kasha, Kedushanina. That Rabbi Yehuda is makel by Dmai, like we said. And Rabbanan Loi Kasha, Kedam Rav Chav Baruchva. B'sheklium nasa b'yado. If the man had a measuring stick that they used to measure volumes, that means since he had it in his hand, also they came with these instruments in their hand. That the one that is praising his grain or his friends, we have to worry about goimlin, and then somewhere else they switch it. But if there's no evidence that they're doing measurement, we don't necessarily a chayish l'goimlin. The heiche itmad Rav Chama bar Ukva. Where do we see this limud of this concept of klei umnasu biyado? Aha, on the following Mishnah, this now. Hakedar shenichu k'dei roisav. A kedar is like a potter, someone who makes pots. And he usually makes them b'tahara. The yard lishtos mayim yor. And he goes down to the river to drink. We say, hapnimiyos tahiros, the pots that are sort of internal, protected, remain tahor. The chitzonios tmeos. And then we have another brayz vatanya, elu ve'elu tmeos. They're both tmeos. And on Rav Chav bar Ukva, because shekleim nasu biyado. It depends. If the guy's instrument that he uses to make the pots, and that he's ready to sell right now, it makes a difference. When he's in the act of selling, everyone's touching it. If everyone's touching it, everything becomes tummy. There's another brayz that says they're all Torah. He shows a sign that he's not selling it, and therefore no one's touching it. Well then, if no one's touching it, why do we have the Mishnah that says it should all be Torah? Why do we say that the outer ones are Tameh? These outer pots are close to Rishus Harabim, where there's so many people traveling to Rishus Harabim, they get people bump into it. We now say that the machlokas of our Mishnah, why Rabbi Yehuda says we don't rely on one aid, and the Chachamim say, b'malin b'truma l'yosin kamifli. The concept of when people see that you give truma to a Kohen, that automatically elevates his yichus status to a Kohen. Do we say that or not? Meaning, one holds that just because you give somebody truma doesn't necessarily mean that you elevate him regarding his yichus. And the other says you do. And if you do, you must rely on two aid and not one aid. Okay. Iboilu. Therefore, I ask you a theoretical question. Ma lahalis mishtaris liyos. If you look at a star and somebody writes Chaim Yankel Koyen, can you raise him up as to yichus based on the fact that he signed as a Kohen? So man kamasari loy.
Tissue.
What was that?
I'm getting a tissue.
Thank you very much. Huh?
One business people.
Thank you.
Good.
Well, because somebody wrote, I'm a Kohen, what kind of agency is that? He's testifying on himself. Thank you very much, Jake. So lo tzricha d'chsiv be'ani ploini kohen, lavisi mana mi ploini. We're not talking about the Eidim who signed it. We're talking about the text of the shtar was, I, such and such person, kohen, borrowed money. The chasim usadi, and witnesses signed on that. You have two witnesses on the shtar. So the Gemara now has a havamina to say, because the witnesses signed on the shtar, and in the content of the shtar it says that the guy was a kohen who borrowed the money, we could say that he's a kohen.
The witness always have to testify on what's written in the start. Just
So the question Mario brings up is the Gemara's question. Ma, when witnesses sign, what are they signing? Amana shebishtorka masadi. Are they signing on the content of the material? Or dilma akula milsaka masadi? Or they're signing on all the details. Could be that they're only signing on the fact that it's $1,000. On the other details, you can't rely on them. Or do we say no? Yeah, you can rely on everything. So machloikes, Ravuna Rav Chizah, Chadamar Mailu. One of the Mandamrim hold that if you have two Eidim who signed on the shtar and it says Ani Ploini Koyen loan the money, you can raise them to Yichus. Chadamar Ein Malu. There says you can. Okay, he borrowed. Very interesting question. Ma'al Alas Benesias Kapayim Yus. You see somebody go up and duchen. Can you rely on that to say that he's a coin regarding yichus? I can ask you the question both according to the ones who say that you elevate somebody yichus when you give them truma, and I can ask you according to the mandomer who says that you don't elevate. Tibor lemandomer malu, hanimili truma. You know what? You can elevate somebody to yichus if you see meaning truma. Why? The ovo misahi, a non-kohen who eats truma gets misa b'dei shamayim. So if a person's eating truma, he must be a kohen. Avon nesias kapayim the iser asay lo. The kohanim are told v'kidashto. You must kosavarchos meisra. They have a mitzvah asay to do duchen. There's no lav there. Now, if a non-kohen goes up to duchen, he's violated that asay. But it's not like it's not an avon misa. Well, they don't, but they don't get up in shul and bless you. They bless you when you go visit them. Odilma loishna, or maybe we say no, it makes no difference. And tibor lemandomer ein malim. I'll ask you the same to tzadim according to the person who says you're not mala at kohen based on giving him truma. Because hani mila truma misakla b'tzina. No matter what, truma is eaten privately. Well, this is kapayim to the farhesya. But duchening is done public. Eat lav kohen and kul haylo matzah finished nafshe. Person's not going to be so chutzpahdik to go up with the kohanim and bench other people if he's not a kohen. Oh, dilma loshna. Or maybe we'll say no. So again, Rav Chizah Rav Avina. Chadamar mali. The chadamar ein mal. Amalei Rav Nachman Yitzchak Rav. They asked Rav Ma'ul Alos B'Nesias Kapayim L'Yitz. Can you raise somebody because he went up in duchen for yichus? Amalei. Looked at Rav Chizah Rav Avina. He knew his stuff. So Hilchas Samai. Amr, what's the halacha? Amalei. Anamas Nisi Adam. Listen, I don't know the halacha. I know the Bryce, the Tanya. Rabbi Yossi Omer Gedoyle Chazaka. Having Chazaka is strong. And you don't change Chazaka. Shenemar. This is a pasuk in Ezra Nehemiah. Something we should learn as a group, the Navi Shir, because most people have not learned Ezra Nehemiah. And it's quoted everywhere in Shas. There were certain families that came up from Bavel. They asked for their yichus brief. The law nimso, they got dumped from the kahuna. We're not going to let anybody eat kodshim unless they stand in front of the or in the tumim and it says that they're a kohen or not. So what's going on here? Omer lahem, Ezra said to them, Harei atem b'cheskaschem. We're going to keep you whatever chazak you were before. Bamei yisimachim b'goyla. What were you eating in Bavel? B'kotshei agvul. You were eating truma. That's another synonym for kotshei agvul. So avkan b'kotshei agvul. So here also we'll allow you to eat truma. Now, comes to the now, if you could elevate somebody's yichus by seeing if they duchen, hani, these kohanim, kiven the parsi adayu, they were doing duchening, asil askili. There would have been no problem to elevate them to kohuna. There was a reyes to the chazak, means there was a deficiency to the chazak, because we saw that they were not eating kotcha mizbeach. They were eating truma, but they weren't eating, for example, shlamim, things that were coming off the mizbeach. So people were questioning, are they really kohen? The ilotem hachi, because if you don't say that, the mandomer malam mitruma yursin, the mandomer that says you elevate somebody to yuchos based on their eating truma, kiva dachli betruma, then there would be no shaila. We'd be ready to elevate them. So I just want to read you the Rambam. In Malala Yuchsin, Mishra so Nosi Capricorn. We don't elevate them just because you see them duchening. Because the Gemara never resolved it. We don't mala from shtaros to kuhuna. If it's written in the shtar, Pliny coin loan money, and he ate him thing, it's not enough proof that he's a coin miyuchos.
I guess we have a lot of coin and we have to be boydek there.
Tomorrow we're also going to have mincha at 7:45, and then we'll learn afterwards, right after Seder. Thank you. Mincha at 7:45, followed by Mario. I'm sorry. We're going to do tsurba afterwards, and we'll do Daf Yomi after the tsurba.
Okay, shkayach Ernie.
No, because we
Harold.
usually learn Daf either before.
Harold,
If you want to learn Daf before, like at 7.
Everybody decide.
Okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Ernie, are you okay? I called you last night. I wanted to see if you were okay.
The jet lag hit me at 5:30 yesterday. I didn't have a jet lag last 3 days. I had tremendous jet.
No, it wasn't. It was the heat of this morning
You
that
think
killed
so?
me also. Yeah, sure. And
Walter,
you walked.
listen to this. I fell asleep at 5:30 and I slept till the morning.
Baruch Hashem. You needed it.
I think
Anyway,
Sunday was probably a combination.
I was up at 4 o'clock this morning already. So
Yeah, because you had to check in.
yeah, the Baruch Hashem.
So how long was the procedure?
No, it was crazy. There was supposed to be 3 hours. They were finished in less than an hour, and they didn't need any of the plastic surgeons. He took out a couple of screws. He told me 2 screws and some part of the rod, and basically he said I could close it up right away. The incision was very small, so
Very good. Thank God.
big nissim. And then she was walking this afternoon already. She got out of bed at like 2 o'clock. She was walking.
Thank God.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch
You know, she's in pain, but compared to what she went through, 13 hours to less than 1 hour is like, crazy.
Baruch Hashem.
Okay, bye, Ernie. The neshama should have an aliyah. How many years is it?
55.
55. Wow. Crazy. Okay.